How's everybody doing today? Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? It's good opening, eh? Corbin likes it. There you go. Wave at the camera. There you go. Get it out of your system. Okay, now go sit down. Covered in hair immediately. Okay, hi. How are ya? So here is the standard statement that I make at the beginning. If you have a one-page comic idea that you can put in 1 or 2 sentences, put it here in the chat or in the comment section below the video in the live section of my YouTube channel. Long and complicated. All right. You got a one-page comic idea, throw it at me. I had somebody put one in a comment for yesterday's video or 2 days ago's video. I posted the page that we did from yesterday's suggestion, which was, hold on, I'll get my book out. Long. I read them down in the old bookie. Switch cameras. So the suggestion for yesterday, boink, was not on this page. An ancient Sumerian showing off his newfangled bronze ruler and a crowd of ancient Sumerian artists calling him a cheater. That's not very nice. Gary Hodges gave us that suggestion. Yay, Gary! It was a good one. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And so what we came with from that was this, which is I came at it from the perspective of making up a fictitious ruler of Sumeria named Sugerian. Sugerian the First. Gary even came up with that name. So good stuff, Gary. I put some gold color in the background. If I'd taken, I finished this last night. I would have done a little bit more to diffuse that gold because the color is so solid, it actually annoys me. I would rather it looked more washed out and watercolored out. But tonight I will be talking about a little known Sumerian king, the ruler Sugerian the First, and then it goes on about the story, the fictitious story about the inventor of the ruler and how his mythical land rejected him because of it. So anyhow, this was a fun page. So a couple little subversive statements in there, little subversive jokes, but that's what you're tuning in for, maybe. Okay, so today's suggestion is at the top of the screen already. It comes from comic artist and writer Chad Leduc, who does the Sasquatch series out of Brantford, Canada. That's the person who is the publisher of the last book I just did, Sasquatch New Beginnings, with him. So fun. So his suggestion is Barney in Rehab, which is really dark, but it's all how we approach it, right? So about 15 minutes ago, before I do that, one more thing. Before I do that, let me do this. I tried to do this. This is the original art for the page for today. Okay, so you can see that there's the marker lines for the gold as it goes down. It's a tractoring marker. So when I go, and then I've changed the order of some panels and changed some of their size. And for the 2 lecture panels about the person narrating the story, I've even gone so far as to color them. So that, unnecessary complications. And then I added a real ruler over top. So there's the original art, and there's the finished image. Okay? And it ends, of course, with, please fund my research. It feels like a lot of these lecture things, there's somebody getting attention so they can get funding of their research. But at the same time, there's this fantastic insight of information. And, what do you call that when you correct a lot of hoo-ha nonsense information that's out there in the world, like ancient aliens and whatnot? I've seen some really interesting ones lately on Göbekli Tepe that, give a little bit of course correction to the magical ancient race we've lost that may have been involved with Atlantis. Oh, good Lord. So why can't we just give credit to people having ingenuity different times? So that's the original page, and that's the finished result. Now, a few minutes ago, I sat down about 20 minutes ago now. I sat down and I doodled this really quick. This is a piece of random scrap brown paper that you get. You know, you get something in the mail, and there's a whole bunch of brown paper just sort of squished in there. Just a packing paper. I don't know what specifically this is called, but it's always crumpled and it's always just bunched up in there. And it's one of the things that people generally throw out or recycle as soon as they get the magic prize that's in the box, which is what they really want. So I saved a bunch of that because I am a weirdo. So I scribbled this on paper really quick in my giant primary printer. And then I went over the image with acrylic paints. And so I scanned this. You did, Chris? I did. Then what happened? I'm glad you asked. So then I put it in the computer. Okay. So what I was up to next is that I'm going to do today's suggestion, Barney in Rehab, digitally, because I had a lot of fun doing this page on Monday digitally. And I work really fast this way. So, well, I generally draw fast, but this digital is just a little bit silly at sometimes. So I drew this, I scanned it, and then I started messing around with it. So you can see the little stages. Cut off the bottom, took the image, broke it into 3 segments, and then reattached those segments, worked at different angles. Right? Got a good look at it this way so you can see how it's adjusted now. Then I crinked the corner up a little bit and put some lines across where those folds were so you could see what was going on there. Warped it a little bit more. There's when you highlight Control-T your image. Is it going to do it? No. When you Control-T your image, they're up at the top of your screen here is this fantastic tool, and which is the switch between free transform and warp mode. And so it goes right to warp, and that let me warp that up a little bit. And then I added a stroke line around the outside edge. This is where I'll jump to a different background color at this point. So when I put another stroke line around that outside edge, I put up a black background screen so I could see what the edge of this image looked like. And then I cleaned it up. I went in and trimmed it up a little bit and erased some of the overhanging edges and bits so that I've got a consistent line around there. And then I went about warping it and flattening some more. So it looks like more and more, it looks like real piece of paper garbage. So finally resting on this, which I then scanned. So we started with this. Pardon me. We started with this. And we ended with this. So I copied that and I went over to here and I dumped it in this page I'm going to work on today. And, so the nice part, and I've got a whole bunch of little panels laid out here that are little layers laid out here that I'm going to work on. But what's nice about this is that now I have this image that I can put it wherever I want, and I can do whatever I want with it within this finished image. And it took me 15 minutes to take this original little scribble drawing that I scanned and then went through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different little shake and bakes along the way in order to manipulate that so that it got to this finished state. And I did that using free transform, warping, and perspective shifting it, and segments and parts. Like I'll highlight half of it, go into perspective, and then bend that half. You go, and then I'll save that, right? And then I'll highlight the bottom third, go into free transform, go into perspective, and then twist that the other way so I can fold the paper. And it's a lot of fun to play with. But what I do, and the reason that I have so many of these, from the starting image And then you see all the images along the way. Is because I'll duplicate each one as I go, just so that if I do something that I go, oh no, that was wrong, I've just got a backup immediately to jump over to. So we went from here, right, to here, to our finished image. So, okay, so now I've thrown that over the major page. Anyway, so I just want to show you that, just in case anybody's interested in how can you do something like that yourself. And it's a bit of fiddling around for 15 minutes to get this one simple single result from a silly little scribble on a page that took a couple seconds, right? But ideally, in this narrative idea I'm going to come up with, it fits, you know. So what I've done is I'll move my big goofy head here. There we go. I'll move myself over here. Hi, I'm over here now. Magical. All right. So, okay. So at this point, I've got a number. Oh, I better move that too. There we go. I'll get this out of the road. You know what? We know it's number 3. I'll just dump it off. How's that? I'll just turn it off for now. Okay, so Corbin just fell off. Hey, relax. Okay, so the idea today is Barney in rehab. It's a dark one. Now, my oldest watched Barney. I don't, when she was little. And then I think at least the oldest boy did. Maybe the youngest, I don't know. But Barney's like 25 years old, so it's not the most relevant thing. But hair everywhere, cat. So the idea here is that I want to take it and break it down like it's a Where Are They Now television program, right? I think that is a way to catch a hold of the fact that it's a 25-year-old thing. Need a drink there. So I've got my fancy glove on. And so I've got a rough layer here over on the side. Now you can see I set up a bunch of layers because I've got some ideas. And with my rough layer, the thought is that we can break this down. We don't need to see my name right now. Oh, that's the wrong. What is my name? Oh, it's on there. Okay. All right. So maybe correct that. Oh, I have it. Okay. So in my rough layer here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roughly break down what my thinking is behind this. And the reason that I have this scrumpled up piece of paper is just something extra, just a little bit of spin on the page. So I had considered doing one more fold to put it in like a 90-degree angle, so it sat cradled up in this part of the page. And I think we can still do that. So I'm going to turn it to this angle. And so if I go here, like I showed you before, and I go into warp, now I can go here and pull the entire sucker up. Whoops. Pull the whole page up so that we're folding it now. Right? And that just allows us to play with the image enough that we want it to be somewhat readable. All right, so there we are. Happy days. Okay, so if I go in here now and I spin it, now I've got this great fold on it, and I can lay that in as my first panel. Right? Just garbage. It's garbage. I know that's not very exciting. I realize that. But when playing with ideas like this, it's kind of like, let's just freeform experiment and see what we find. And that's the affordance for us of all kinds of happy accidents. I think that the more I'm learning and figuring out in Photoshop, it's allowing me to try to do different things here. And I like it. Me likey. So so the first panel will go in behind, right? And that'll be, so this will sit in front of that. And then the next panel will sit behind this as well. And so the idea of the next panel is, where are they now? Like it's a TV show logo. And inside this panel, we'll have the traditional expectation of how Barney was drawn. And then we go into the main gist of this whole piece. And that is some testimonials. And so, and you know, I'll probably squish those panels down. Get over there. And you spread out. There you go. Good stuff. Happy. Okay. So, and then of course we'll continue this. Layer mine. All right. So, and then the testimonials continue down below. And the resolve. So it's just a silly conceit, but the next part is I want to do another logic leap. So starting it off with the branding and this ridiculous advertising and you know, the push of hey kids, come out to every single thing and spend every ounce of money that your parents ever owned. That's fun in the sense that it's identifying the real world artifact of here's what the popular children's thing was. Now it's just refuse. You see Barney stuff and it's probably at a rebate store or anything like that. And the amount of advertising and marketing and proliferation of this franchise at the time was massive. It's all just garbage now. So that's what the reason I put the paper in there. And then putting up the where are they now is that thing that the media does because it's soulless, where it takes the individuals involved or the on-screen performers, and it's actively looking for their lives to have worked out less than favorably, or it's absolutely glorifying those whose careers did do somewhat well. And continuing to promote that product that they are, because every actor in Hollywood's a product, right? So that's what the second panel represents, and so it's trying to look into, rather than looking at the Barney in rehab and just drawing rehab Barney, I thought it would be more interesting to look at the fact that any of these people that are on top of the moon at these periods of time in their lives as performers or just any immediate success at a certain point in your life. If you're a football star in high school, it's the same thing. Well, what comes of you for the rest of your life? Because life is long. And at whatever point in time, right, Corbin? Intensely staring at me. At whatever point in time that you do your big glow up, you do your big moment where you're top of the world. Well, life continues on, and so some people still just keep sitting there looking back on that heyday, looking back on that moment in time where this is when I was at my best. This is when things are great. So that's what I'm really exploring here. It's almost like every one of these individuals has to rehabilitate themselves to being a normal person again, to being a human being, from your larger than believable. This is okay. I got to show you this. This is what I deal with when I'm trying to work. He climbs up me, and then taps me. Hey, Dad, did you know that I'm here? Like, it's the most ridiculous thing. So this is why I'm always distracted by the cat, and I'm sorry for that. I can't lock him out because then he just carries on at the door, where he goes and gets our other cat, and she opens the door. It's the stupidest thing. So anyhow, so the whole assessment of this from this idea is Barney in rehab makes me think about any of these one-time successful performers and how they have to be rehabilitated to be normal human beings. And then some of them never do. Clearly, you can understand my association for incredibly successful stars or celebrities of any kind, like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is a psychopath, right? Like, he's an absolute lunatic. Any of these people that are so successful, they defy reality at that point, in the sense that their reality is substantially different than the rest of ours. And so whoever that performer that created, that acted as Barney, or perhaps maybe even created Barney, or maybe there was a guy who was the performer as Barney. I don't know, but you got to wonder, where are they now? What are they doing? Because how do you come back to that? There's a fantastic anime called Paranoid Agent by Satoshi Kon. It's a television series that he did. It's a 10 or 12 episode television series. I think it's 12 episode television series. And it starts with a girl who created a little kitty type character. And everybody is pressuring her for the next big thing, while the other one's still hot, right? What's the next big thing? Get it together. Design this, graphic designer. And so the pressure and the anxiety and all that's sitting on her shoulders is massive. And that night, the next morning she's in the hospital. How about I put it this way? The next morning she's been in the hospital. Detectives asking her about a person that mugged her. And it starts this across the country paranoia about this character called Little Slugger. It's a young man with a baseball bat that mugs people. Or is it? Anyways, so it's less about people immediately think the superlative, the idea of it's a villain, or it's a demon, or it's not. Sometimes it's more about the psychology of a thing, right? So that's kind of what I'm playing with here, something similar to that. I'm a big fan of Satoshi Kon, and if you hadn't had a chance to see his animes or his manga, please do. He died at 37. I think he died in 98. It's been a long time, but his work is phenomenal. Go check it out. It's very insightful. Okay, so here's the gist. Here's the layout. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. So the second spin of it all is that my idea for these testimonials is not to draw the people that portrayed the characters. It's not to draw the characters, right? It's all about perspective. So I'm going to add a layer here and get working. But make my pencil layer less than it's been, and I'm going to get cracking. So the whole idea here is that they're real dinosaurs pretending to be children's dinosaurs. And my thinking behind that is that for me, it's more interesting, but it's just a play. It's a play on perception and on perspective. So, it gives me something to try. It gives me something to work with, in a sense that, it's a non-conformed idea. It's a different perspective. It's a different approach. So I'm just looking at some skulls of Triceratops, and I'll start there. Triceratops, by the way, my favorite dinosaur when I was a kid. Just for some reason, that was the one. That was my jam. So, okay, so I'm going to take the rough layer off, and let's start. I'll start scrabbling this in. Now, I have been informed by someone that, and thank you for that, by the way. Not going to name yet, but my pencils are still considered, or my digital pencils would still be considered roughs because they're not finished inks. And, we'll all get through this together. I'm not too overly concerned with that. I think that there's lots of fun and different ways that we can do things. So I don't believe in hardline rules of how one's specifically supposed to execute something. But I appreciate your input. So I'm drawing, I'm looking at the plates and the planes and the face and trying to figure out like a rhinoceros eye is sort of where, I'm coming at this from. And you can draw it whatever size and then reduce your image down to fit what will be the panel. So that's kind of a fun and liberating way to go about it. Now, ideally, I meant to draw the characters specifically. The reason that I set up so many layers in advance, which is something I generally don't do, is to make these characters the colors of their characters. So the Triceratops girl is in yellow, or no, it's green. And then the other one, I think, is a Stegosaurus, which is yellow. And then Barney, I think, is a T-Rex. So, but it's, it's a silly idea, I know, but it's just the whole notion of kids, when I was a kid, there was this thing about learning all the names of the dinosaurs and trying to pronounce them and paying attention to the newest information about them. For some reason, it was a real thing. And then sort of dinosaurs have fallen off for kids for at least for a period of time, because now it's Godzilla. And there's an unfortunate thing that kids associate a fantastical thing that didn't exist, which is far more exciting than actual dinosaurs, because the Jurassic Park movies, they take fantastic licenses with, like velociraptors, they're like 3 feet tall tops, right? And as far as we've found from the bones that we've discovered, is that they were 3 feet tall. They're sort of like giant ferocious chickens. So these 6.5 foot tall things that are just absolute nightmare fuel from the Jurassic movies that you can train like a dog. Yeah, we're not taking license there. But it's all absurd, right? So I've got my pencil setting down to 45 for my opacity, which lets me build up my lines and not be trapped into this hard line, this hard solid black whenever I start. So I've got to do a couple things in here in order to identifiably connect this character that I'm drawing to represent the existing character in the Barney franchise there. So this is me doing the bone fluting and the fringe around the back, the skull fringe on the back of the Triceratops' head. Today's musical choice, by the way, Anderson .Paak's Malibu. Anyways, it's fun. It feels no different for me now at this point to draw digitally as it does to draw traditionally. Like straightforward drawing, right? Just got it worked out in the right positioning and everything else. I'm sorry if I'm sort of kicking off. There you go. Hi, where are you? That's too close. So this character, I think, has 3 horns. So we got to make sure to put 3 horns in here. Okay, and then a 3rd horn. So I'm learning what the various tools are more aggressively at this point, trying to figure out some of the insights and secrets about utilizing those better so that I can draw more effectively with them. So now my understanding is this is a ball cap on top of the head, behind the horn area on this dinosaur's head. So I'm going to put said ball cap in. And again, that's trying to make it identifiably recognizable for the viewers. So, I possibly overthink everything, and I'm the first to admit it, but there's always something in my head behind the choices that I'm making creatively so that I can find some kind of directional angle for myself for the stories that I'm trying to tell. And I think that from that, we need to be able to figure out a way to convey original thoughts and ideas and something that specifically speaks to or speaks with our own voice. And so that tends to be the behind the scenes of why I possibly overthink all my pages, is that I want them to be my pages. I don't want to do somebody else's work. It's a challenge, right? Like there's something to, if you're working on a pre-existing thing, you've got to expect that there's got to be some conformity to the pre-existing, like all the established motifs or all the established directions of the pre-existing thing. Well, I'm not overly interested in that. So I myself, I'm not one for drawing somebody else's stuff. It's just, because I want to take license. I want to explore. It's not to say that I can't figure out a story for what to do with some pre-existing or franchise thing. Of course I can, but is that as compelling to me as taking that same time and exploring something of my own, unfiltered? I don't know yet. I'm still working out all those answers to those questions myself right now. So, but in the meantime, I'm having a ball. Okay, so almost about done here. And then I'm going to reduce this image down. And I'm going to put, I'm actually going to draw lipstick on this character. Because, again, I'm a bit of a goofball. But, and it's, or no, this is the boy one, I think. I think this is, I don't know which one's a boy, which one's a girl. I personally don't care. I think the other Barney character has lipstick. Maybe, I'm not sure. And I could be wrong. I could have completely made a mistake on which character is which here. But yeah. Rhinoceros are really cool looking. I think one of our kids just got home. Well, okay. So, yeah, and trying to explore this idea of the cult of personality, and this assessment of where they now, this look at the because these people are looked at product as product, as a commodity, in order to be capitalized on more so than a person. And how can you capitalize on that? And how can whoever's investment is in it get the most return from it? And that's sad. But at the same time, I get it. You know, these people put all this investment in, they want some return from that. So, all right. So there's gonna put in some sharper shadows here. Just give a little more depth to the body. So the idea is that this one is going to be yellow. And then the next one I'm going to draw is going to be green. And then so that, like these characters on the show, these are their corresponding colors on the realistic view of them. And they're going to talk about, people expect us to be exactly like the characters we portrayed on TV, but that's what acting is. Could you imagine to live a life where, there's this expectation that this is who you are from this portrayal of a character that you do on stage or on theater or wherever else? It's got to make for some very awkward moments for people, that the expectation that the viewer has that this is exactly who they are. But that's the problem. You put yourself on that platform, on that stage, you got to expect that that's part of the stuff that comes with it. Sad as it is, it'd be naive to think otherwise. All right. Okay, so here's the first character. Just finished this plate here, and then I'm going to get on to drawing the next one. These lines are way too thick up there. Yeah, I could probably put some scaling on there, but let's just move on to the next thing now. So Okay, so here's your Triceratops character with the little baseball hat, like you see. Am I in the, what layer am I on? I go to the rough layer. So right here, that's our first character. So this one will be in yellow. And the next one that we're going to draw is the one that's on this side, which is, move that up so you can see which ones I'm talking about, which is, I think it's a Stegosaurus. All right, so yeah, I'll do it on the same layer. Why not? Yeah, this is the perspective that I'm taking, anyways. You know, by drawing the testimonial part of this, so that if we go back to the rough and you see, here's the the waste that their entire careers now become just refuse and garbage, and then we do the television show. Where are they now? And I'll do a picture of your Barney, your traditional Barney-looking character, and then the testimonials will all be their actual dinosaurs that were actors portraying these cartoonish-looking versions of dinosaurs. So that's kind of, flipping it on its ear, just trying to make something a little bit different. Now, I'm not going to do a Stegosaurus for the green one. I think I'm going to try like what's another dinosaur? I don't know. I'm trying to think of what another dinosaur that has a plated head or a fringe of some kind. So, you just sort of scan. Hey, can you get to keep it down over there? We're trying to get some work done over here. Nice. I'll do my best. So anyways, the next image that we're going to draw is another one of these dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. Yep, that's right. Boom, boom. Gigantosaurus. Okay, I think I got one. The Pachycephalosaurus. I think that might be what this thing is a Pachycephalosaurus. It's a ridiculous thing to be searching for the name of a dinosaur to represent characters from Barney. But like I say, that's the transitional leap that I want to make, where I start with the fact to represent that this is now, these characters are thrown away like garbage because Barney's 25 years ago. Then we can go into our where are they now show, and then but the actual testimonials will show that they're real dinosaurs that were portraying children's dinosaurs on TV. They were professional actors. And it's not easy for people to realize that's not who we are in real life. It's just, something silly. Now, some Barney diehard is going to tell me that there were actual specific dinosaurs that these three characters were supposed to represent. Well, if you know what they are, tell me now before I get into drawing them too much, because I'm not that worked up about it. Okay, well, I better get cracking here. So I'm going to draw the same direction. The infected Opensaurus. Before you know it, the infected Opensaurus is going to get some that its pernicious cousin, the tetanus, is going to appear. Okay, so what layer am I on? Yep, good. Okay. Yeah, this is fun. This is a fun one. Where's our dinosaur? Gary! Does a dinosaur expert want to be asked questions about, hey fella, what kind of dinosaurs were the ones on Barney? So if Gary has an answer for me about what the specific dinosaurs are on Barney. How come the Jurassic movies had so many dinosaurs from the Cretaceous? I don't know. How come? Is this a setting up a punchline, or is it a legitimate curiosity? It's a good question, though. Now, how come they just didn't clone a shark? Or did they? I don't know. I got to be honest. I haven't seen the last couple. I think I have, actually. I think we watched them in the house with the grandkids. No impact on me at all. I'm more interested in real dinosaurs. Where's Gary to answer? Oh, lobbyists. It's always lobbyists. That's right. It's always the lobbyists. They're behind everything. That's why aren't there lobbyists in the Jurassic movies behind dinosaur control, or to liberate the restrictions on dinosaur control so that Americans have the right to have as many dinosaurs as they want. To be honest, this dinosaur kind of reminds me of a cow. Maybe dinosaurs became cows. Gary! Taking a little bit of liberty here. Thank goodness one of my youngest came home because Corbin's left me alone at this point. That cat was driving me crazy. Oh, no, he isn't. He's sleeping. What the heck? I thought you were gone. It doesn't mean get up. I wouldn't want to actually ink my own pencils at this point because I kind of have fun with some of these textures and stuff. And I like putting it in rough and then seeing where that goes. Scratchy lines. There's other people that have really nice lines, especially Gary Hodges and how he draws. Well, pretty much anything, not just dinosaurs, but he's always got a really clean line. And he knows all about dinosaurs. It's funny, you put the cheek going, or the edge of the mouth going up, it looks like a cow. You put the edge of the mouth going down, it looks like a deer. Could dinosaurs have evolved into deer? Yeah. That's the sound of me being happy with how my drawing's going. Is you hear me say, yeah. I've raised the brow on this Pachycephalosaurus. That's, I think, how it's pronounced. Probably 6 times at this point. Just because it has such a prominent brow ridge there. But that top of the cranium is even crazier. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's probably easier if I just go draw one in real life. I tend to draw everything from life. I met somebody on Monday night that said that to me. I only draw things from real life. I said, yeah, like dinosaurs. No, I didn't say that. I wish I had. That would have been very funny. But they were trying to draw continue on a page. It's about aliens and UFOs. But they couldn't get the internet to work where we were. So, and they tend to prefer to draw things in real life. And I thought, oh boy. If you find a real picture of one, I know some people want to see it. Can't blame them. They're young. They don't know. And yes, I'm trying to be very nice. So. Look at the pretty flowers. See the pretty flowers? Anyways. Yeah, so this is a Pachycephalosaurus, it's called. And hopefully that is a fair representation of one. Thunder lizards, that's what these are. They're thunder lizards. All right. So I think that I'll turn this image around for the testimonials, largely because you don't want to have it just be this formulaic sort of everybody's facing the same way, everybody saying the same things. This way, it gives that diversity of flipping back and forth between the two, and engaging in the direction of the page. It's just playing up on some things here. Yeah. So this is the two co-stars of Barney, or as I've called it, Harley. I wrote Harley on the sheet, and the two co-stars are going to talk about the challenges of being an actor and people not seeing you for who you are, and being objectified. All those things that actors that put themselves in front of cameras for a career, and they get surprised when people see them as not people but as products. I like those interviews where the actors say that, and I know it's terrible and those people shouldn't have to be put through that by any means, but they're putting themselves in that position, in that limelight, where people are going to see them in their own mental context. They're not going to see them for, all that they are. They're going to miss out on all that wonderful character. And they're only going to see them from their action movies or their, murder camp. The worst ones are the horror stars. Those people have no identifiable self outside of these characters that they portray. At conventions, I mean, people just assume this person's just like this vivacious character from the 1980s. And meanwhile, this actor is, X amount of years old now. And it's like, man, that's 2 films I did out of a career of 40. But that's what they're there and getting paid for. So people just determine that that's who they are. It's kind of a sad thing. Okay, so we've got 2 of the dinos done for the initial testimonials. And so back to the rough just for a moment. So these 2 dinosaur drawings that I've just done are going to go into, let me get to the right layer first. Okay, they're going to go, the first one's going to go here, the second one's going to go there. And, the idea is that these are real dinosaurs pretending to be these children's characters for these children's television show. So what I'm going to do for a second here is I'm going to take these images of the two dinos. Whoops. Way to go, Chris. Can't you outline? Okay. So I'm going to take them, I'm going to put them on their own layer, just so that did I just save and redo the wrong layer? Yes, I did. Yep. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. When the looks go, I'm telling you, I'm in trouble. Too late. Okay, so there's this character on its own layer now. And then I'm going to pull, I'm going to delete that image off the original. So now we've only got one version of each of the dinosaurs on their own layer. So that lets me go ahead, whoops, wrong layer. So now I can go ahead and pick and choose the wrong layer again. Stupid. Can't believe I've done that twice. Well, I can, let's be honest. All right, so now I can reduce this character down. I think I want to pull the perspective a little bit on them and move them up to where the panel's going to be. And then cut back to Action Jack here and do the same with this one. So that this is the 2 initial panels coming together for the testimonials. So there's the rough drawings on those. Yeah, and it'll just be, when I start doing the frame layers, you know, you'll start to see how, you know, what these characters have to say about the main star. So what I thought I would do is have the two of them talking about something, and then a portrayal of a behavior in this whoops. This is the behavior panel, and that's the testimonials here. And then down here, I'm going to have another image of the Triceratops, and maybe it might be another behavioral just for breaking it up, and then this character down here, or maybe I'll reverse those so that it looks like there's just more transition in the shots. And then the final panel, this one, is going to be Barney, the Barney dinosaur. So we might as well at this point draw him in. So I'm going to do something first where this one is, who's yellow? This is the yellow one. So I'm going to merge this onto that yellow layer because my intention is to put the drawing of this character is going to be in the color of the character. And so now as I pull them up to their own layers, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the yellow dinosaur be drawn in yellow pen, the green dinosaur be drawn in green pen, and of course the purple dinosaur being drawn in purple pen. So, and then the bag, and then the where are they now? And so the frames will all be put in black. The where are they now header is going to be in black. And the narrative is going to have that black panel border to it. But I think that even the text that's being said by these dinosaurs will be in the color of who they are as well. Just for something different, just to shake it up. So, you know, I'm having fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think about a fun way to portray him. So that the dinosaur looks like it has regret. I know that sounds silly, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? You gotta have fun, that's for sure. Anyways, so let's draw in this guy. So I'm not going to be able to show all the stuff I have intended along the way because there's no point in going ahead and saving that, like in doing the color switches and stuff now until I have all the different iterations of all the different dinosaurs drawn in, right? So this is so what I'm trying to do, and I'm just going to try to do this with the eyes first, is get across the hollowness around the eyes, focus on that more as an anthropomorphized human emotion than I am of drawing it more specifically as the dinosaur. I had to draw a picture of Barney really quickly before I did this because I wanted to make sure. I thought Barney had a bow tie, so I had to make sure that I'd worked that out and made, you know, that he doesn't. So have some kind of idea. I never really couldn't stand Barney back in the day. My daughter loved it. My sons loved it. It's kind of a ridiculous and yet wholesome show. Unless there's stuff that I really wasn't aware of at the time. So I think I got with this eye, I think I've captured a kind of surprised eyebrow is what I'm trying to get down here as I'm trying to draw this sort of anthropomorphized, sort of a regret look. And we'll see how it goes. But I just wanted him to look awkward, like he was full of, his life is not working out the way he wanted it to, which is what, again, these programs are really looking for. Where are the stars now? So-and-so's got a drug addiction. It just sort of diminishes their work when you just make their life be more about the tawdry, unfortunate things that Hollywood spits people and chews out. So, actually, I think that chin goes farther back. Dinosaurs is tough. I tend to use a T-Rex for drawing my dragons. I like the form of the skull a lot, and it was something I had a hard time drawing when I was, younger. And when I finally sat down and figured out it's not about drawing those lines, it's about drawing those structures, those shapes in the face and the folds and the bends and all the business. And as soon as I started figuring that out, I started having fun drawing dinosaurs. And I can't stop myself. I think that in the new movies, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like in the new films, does Godzilla not have cat attributes, or is that just me projecting, my own thoughts and on the matter? Because I tend to watch. I have cats, so I tend to, you see the things that you know and you experience, right? But it seems to me like Godzilla has cat features. So it really kind of was a case of cat versus monkey in that last film. So there's a plate on the bottom of the bone. There's this directional plate that goes like this. So I think that that's got to make the shape of the jaw like that. I don't want them to be too scary, but I'll have to stick some jagged teeth kicking around. I'm going to move the rough for a moment. It's getting in the way of me seeing what I'm doing. Yeah, so this plate goes here. Runs under there. Not a very aggressive looking dinosaur. But, Okay, so I've got a couple of suggestions pending. But if anybody that's watching is, thinking of more one-page comic suggestions, you're always welcome to shoot them at me. I'll do them as I'm able. Get some fun ones in there. As long as you keep it away from franchises. I've had a number come in that I'm getting DM'd a lot and direct messaged. I had to look that up the first time I heard DM. Jeez. So I'm getting DM'd a lot, and the ones that I get DM'd for the most part, I think that I'm turning down half of them at least. at least half, because again, I can't draw these licensed characters. So if your only idea is of these licensed characters, this is why I'm not able to do it, right? I could do a pastiche of it, but it's still basically it, right? And your whole story is structured around it being the licensed character and supporting characters and so forth. There's not a lot of play there. So that's why if you're one of the people that have yet to see theirs like that, that's unfortunately why, and I apologize to you. But I'm gonna put these on into print at some point in my life, and I can't do that if I'm gonna get having to deal with some corporate lawyers or whatever the hell in case they ever see it and decide to pick on another little guy. And I'm very, very little and easy to pick on. And I got feelings. Teeth. This goes back to our page from a few days ago. Don't forget to brush your teeth. If you want to learn about dental care and tooth decay, go check out my page that I did a couple days ago. Take it from Nosferatu. Brush your teeth, kids. All right, so I think that I need to broaden the head up a little bit more and give it a little bit of a rough edging so that it feels a little more T-Rexy. There we go. Yeah, that feels more T-Rexy. T-Rexy, that's the official term. If I go through my history, there's about 750 layers of pencils. More like 7,000 at this point. A lot of hashy lines when I'm drawing. So I think if I do play with color, this is where I would put the green chest in. So I'm just going to leave this area void because that's funny. But I think it'll be fun to talk about. I couldn't get out of the rules because it was just typecast at that point. Right? That'll be fun. What is it? Christopher, I have a question for you. Can you sing the theme to The Littlest Hobo? Any damn self-respecting Canadian can sing the theme to The Littlest Hobo. Do you want to sing it with me, Frank? There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. That's where I'll always be. Test me on that. Come on. Maybe tomorrow, Frank. Maybe tomorrow. I'll try to sing that song. Until tomorrow, I'm just going to keep moving on. Any other takers? Any other Canadians watching the stream that want to give a shot to the lyrics of The Littlest Hobo? When did you start watching The Littlest Hobo, Frank? Frank, for those that don't know, is in Texas. So the fact that he's connecting to The Littlest Hobo is fantastic. It's a very Canadian show. Michael Ironside got a start on The Littlest Hobo, just in case you were wondering. Before going off and playing all kinds of B villains and being a coach in Starship Troopers. I think he's coach, or maybe that's Kelsey. I'm trying to think. I think he's the coach, or at least a science or some kind of teacher, anyhow. Yeah, the Littlest Hobo is the Canadian version of Lassie, basically. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to take. When Philip told me about it, I looked it up. I like the theme. It's almost a Frank Salazar theme. Oh my goodness. Frank Salazar is going to have a theme. I don't know if we're ready. I don't know if we're ready for that, Frank. I'm ready. I'm ready, Frank. I'm very excited to hear the Frank Salazar scene. Yeah, so I'm just picking a different angle and reducing it down so that it will fit into one of our rough laid out panels, right? And then I'm just going to finish up the last little bits of drawing in his chest area here. I don't know why I drew the bottom line there. Starting to put his arms in there. Just to shake up the panel. All right, so that's him. Now the other two things that I got to figure out in the course of laying out this page is I think one more thing I'm going to draw on this purple layer is that I'm going to draw the version of him from the television show. I'm going to draw it as a, where are they now? Everybody remembers this old character from TV. That's right, they said TV, not TV. So Frank, you're going to have to give us the Frank Salazar theme show, the theme song at some point. And maybe some of us will sit down and record it for you. It could happen. Okay, so the rough is going to go in behind the page from over here that I drew quickly before and then scanned and crumpled up in the computer. So in behind that is where the show title is going to be for the Where Are They Now, right? So Where Are They Now is where I need to draw the real Barney. Frank says, as soon as I write it out, he's going to share it with everybody. Is it? We have to wait until tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Well, do it quick, or we'll just keep moving on. Oh, now that's going to be stuck in my head all day, Frank. Okay, so, yeah, how does this guy go? I don't know if I could get sued for this or not. Maybe I should change the colors of the dinosaurs. Maybe that's the answer to making it distinct and unique. Frank says, my work here is done. You're a nightmare, Frank. We all love you for it, you cuddly bugger. Blame Phil on that one. He planted the seed in you. I have to tell him, Phil, you stop planting seeds in Frank. I think I'm going to have to get a hold of Gary Hodges, and ask him, what kind of dinosaur is this one? And does this look realistic to the bones that we have? This one here, is this a realistic looking dinosaur? How old would you say that this one is? What can you tell? What can you tell from just seeing it on like that before you? Didi had an interesting show this morning. She was showing her sketchbooks. And if you don't know, Didi has a lot of sketchbooks. It's pretty impressive. She's got sketchbooks for different reasons. It's very, very, very cool. Frank says the Canadian seed was planted years ago when I first saw You Can't Do That on Television. Just step back and think about that sentence for a second. Yeah, I'm going to have to change him a little bit. I might give him sharp teeth. Just so that there's enough of a change. And then I'll give him a higher brow ridge. There, that's enough of a change. Dee Dee is awesome. Let's get that up on the screen. Ow. Frank, did you see the page I did a couple of days ago? That was for you. Go back through the streams and you'll see one. I'm going to give him a tail too. Around that line. There we go. Oh, nice. Oh, Salazar. So we planned a trip at the start of June. I'm going to be going to Toronto with my wife. She's got a conference there, and I'm going to use that as an opportunity to check out some stuff in Toronto. Go to some big city supply stores and buy all kinds of whatnot and thingamajigs and who's-a-my-bobs. I'm very excited. Okay, so here's our dinosaur guy. Get this leg in here. Really fun lines on the shape of this character. As much as, yes, I know what the character is, and it might give some people post-traumatic stress disorder, but some really fun lines on it. I think I'm going to give him a little bit of a claw foot, just to change it up just a little bit more from the original. And then I'm going to give him a tail. Just so it's uniquely different than the original. And that makes it a little more like the actual thing it represents. Okay, so there's this bozo, and so that'll be in the panel for the Where Are They Now? So I'm going to highlight this and then reduce it down so it'll fit roughly on that the same height as these other images, so that we've got consistency in the panel sizes. So when I go back to that rough and I place the paper bag over top, so it sort of fits to the rough, I can move it over a little bit. But I want to play with some sizes, and I want to play with some of the characters, and so that we can get some more dialogue in these panels and make it like a nice little documentary about the rough times that so and so had, and just keeping it real, yo. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is going swimmingly. I'm pretty pleased with how this page is going. So, and then I think that I need to put one more panel in here. So while I'm on this panel now, I'm going to clean up, add a little bit more texture and definition to this part of the body, just so that these lines continue down. It gives me a little more space to play with and to use when I'm chopping these things up and fitting them into the panels. Frank says, I just got back from the speech club I belong to. I'm giving a speech next week. Last Saturday was the contest. I got 3rd place. It was a fun experience. Congratulations, Frank. That's fantastic. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. Oops. That one I'm going to save. So this layer, which is where I've made the crumpled flyer, I'll move that over so that it's sort of sitting on the ground in front of, I'll move it right about there, I think. And so the Barney character, with that in mind, I'm going to pull this one up, move it up, and I'll put the screen and the Where Are They Now up in behind the bag. So yeah, it's going to come together kind of nicely. So I have yet to finish a panel here for, the day he walks off the job. And then I have 2 more, another Triceratops and another Pachyosaurus to draw as they're regaling, some of his behavior on set. And then it cuts back to, after this commercial, we're going to interview the star himself. So the structure of it's coming together according to the rough idea fairly well. I just have a few more images to do. But like with layer, I'll put it here. So where Are They Now? Now I'm just going to put this in our Rockwell. But that's the name of the TV show that's going to, be on the screen here behind old Bilbo Baggins here. So I'll tilt that up and affect it a little bit and get that tooled up. And so here's the testimonials from these characters here. And so the notes that I would put down on that rough layer, I'm going to make an extra layer here. Let's make a rough. Let's clean up our roughs. So on this, this is going to be walking off job. And so I get to draw a T-Rex walking down an alleyway. And then this is the Pachyosaurus, Pachy Testimonial 2. And then there's the hiding from reporters, and then the Triceratops. That's their testimonial too. And shut in. I might do one more little panel here of him shut in his house, depending on how much space these 3 panels are going to take up. If they're too far over, I'll drop this panel. But that's the plan. That's and then after these commercials. So that's where it'll end off. Is they're going to start interviewing Barney when they come back from commercial, and that'll be the end of the page. But it's just a page establishing that Barney's been in rehab. Without having to get into that sort of decadent, sort of dark aesthetic of, diminishing the kid's character. I'm going to change the colors on the character. Well, I can't actually because I've done the colors on that flyer. Well, we'll have some license. I've already given them teeth and claws and the tail. So, anyways, and then the real actors are actual dinosaurs. They just played these cartoony dinosaurs on television. That's the theory. So it's kind of, that's my process. That's my creative process. There was a bunch of steps in order to take the scan of this 5-minute drawing that I did of a Barney flyer, and all the steps along the way to convert it and twist it up and contort the image so that I could get it to the point where it's nice and crumpled and flat enough at that point that what the original image is and then what the final image is so very different, so that I can make it look like a real crumpled piece of paper, so that when I get to put it in the finished, and then I tilted it up one more time so it sort of sits interestingly on the page. All those little steps along the way, that took like 5 minutes. So it's like 15, 20 minutes tops that I worked on this before I turned the camera on and started drawing. So you sort of have to find something. As soon as you can find something, no matter what it is, whatever weird twist on stuff you're putting in, that's where it lets you get into your page. That's where it lets you get working. That's where it gets your process started, your engine running. So that's, for me, as soon as I can find one thing like that, then my head just starts spinning. Then I just start running out. What do we got? Oh, hey, how you doing? Welcome aboard, Philip. Hey, it's Frank. Love it. Hey, everybody, it's Frank. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So the panels that I've yet to draw is the walking off the job, the hiding from reporters, and I either might draw the front of his house or a church to sort of say that depending on where the text goes, it's either going to say, that he's a shut-in and that, he unfortunately got, he got swept up in doing inappropriate things. But we sang the song, Philip, the whole song. Frank sang it with me. He came on live. We sang the entire Little Hobo theme song. It was great. Yeah. Because every stop Frank makes, he's making new friends. So these are Little Hobo jokes for anybody that isn't getting those. So, oh, thanks very much, Philip. It's very nice of you to say. Well, if you go back through the video, you'll see Frank. He's standing on a table, he's taking his shirt off. It's interesting. So I drew the little hat on the yellow dinosaur. I put the little flowers in the hair of the other little dinosaur to represent the little additions to the costumes to denote those two kids on the show. And then I've tried to give Barney a sort of worried and worn out look on the T-Rex here. Now, were I to color this, I would probably... Philip says he told Frank that every Canadian knows the whole theme song. When Frank asked me if I knew the theme song, the first thing I said, Philip, was every self-respecting Canadian knows that theme song. So, well, at least every self-respecting old Canadian knows that theme song. Kids have no idea. I mean, come on. The new Scooby-Doo show that just came out doesn't have Scooby-Doo in it. Kids know nothing nowadays. So they're just, I'd hate to see them redo Littlest Hobo. Unless they brought Michael Ironside out for the first episode. Then I'd watch it. All right, Hobo. So old now. Anyways. Okay, so that's the stuff that I have yet to draw. We're at an hour 36 today. It's it's going pretty well. I'm really pleased with how fast it comes together. The only real problem that I have with digital drawing comics digitally is I'm a tactile guy. And yesterday my hydro shut off. Look, I'm just going to make an aside at this point. Who are you surprised? I do it all the time. Yesterday my hydro shut off, and I've been in a sort of mental panic since, because I have all of the books and all of the this. I've done almost 40 pages since the start of the year, and all of it's on an external hard drive, right? And so when the hydro shut off, I just thought, what if I lose everything? I'm kind of done, right? And it would be a massive setback. So I've got to go and pick up another external hard drive. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I've got to make sure to double back up whatever I'm doing. I was just really sort of taken back by that. But the problem that I have with drawing digitally is that there's no tactile copy of something. Frank is going to come on tomorrow and sing the theme song. Oh my goodness. And I'll let my wife know. You're going to steal hearts, Frank. I'm going to tell every Canadian I know, the Texan's going to sing our song. It's not our song. It's just a great theme song for a TV show. And then you start humming the Beachcombers. Huh? Hey? With Bruni Juicy? Oh, Frank says he wants to do it on the next stream. I think Philip wants to sing it with you. Oh boy. There we go. I'm going to tune in for that shit, fellas. You let me know. I'd like to see you guys duet that. It's the new air supply. That'll be great. And anybody that's tuned in today, please watch out for Philip Chandler. Follow Philip Chandler so you can find out that stream where he and Frank are going to sing The Littlest Hobo, because I'll be there. That's really cool. This song's going to be stuck in my head all day long now. So anyway, so my whole thing with the scanning is that I have all these tactile copies of all these pages from working in mixed media. But when I draw digitally, I don't. So should I print out a copy as soon as should I need to have one on record? Should it, things go awry? That literally went through my mind, is how much ink can I use up by spitting out a copy of an actual page of everything that I have saved? And that's probably not the way to go about it, but who knows? We'll see. But this page is well underway at this point, and I'm quite pleased with the direction that it's going. And I really enjoyed the page from yesterday to present this as an archaeologist presenting a dissertation on a fictitious Sumerian ruler that invented the ruler. I call it the ruler after myself, of course. Yeah, based on Gary. I think you should print one out, maybe trace it out afterwards so that I have a copy of the originals. That's an idea. That just seems like extra work. But, the thing about printing out some of these pages like this is that's a heck of a lot of ink that's going to kill a printer, right? Or, even like this one. Look at all that gold that's got to come in. That's just pure color. So, being able to scan an image like this and then to manipulate it in a computer and do that with it is really beneficial. But this doesn't exist in reality. It's just this flat piece of paper, right? But it works for us on the page, and that's the whole point. So it's challenging. Even the dinosaur sketches are, when I do it as a finished page, Yeah, I don't know. It's a sort of scary conundrum. I'd be interested to hear what people that purely work digitally, what do they do about? And I'm not trying to set anybody off here by making you worry about your work now, but what do you digital guys do to make sure that if anything goes wrong, you don't lose everything that you've done digitally because you've opted to do everything digitally, right? So what do you digital folks do? I'd be interested in finding out on our next episode of. Anyways, what am I missing? Oh, Frank's going to do a Maple Tour stream. He's going to go stream to stream singing The Littlest Hobo. Let every Canadian streamer know. Get different appearances by Frank. You'll be forced to move up to the country of Canada. You'll have to buy winter boots because you'll realize that cowboy boots or whatever it is you guys wear in Texas don't work. Although we will introduce you to Stompin' Tom, and so you'll want to bring your boots with you so you can emulate that. Philip says, I have 2 backups for anything digital, cloud and the backup drive. I have to put everything on cloud, I think. I think that might be the answer, which means I have to learn how to use the cloud. The cloud. Where do you find all those drawings? On the cloud. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to keep crack-a-lacking on this, but as of right now, I'm going to need to sign off, and Frank says he always carries his boots with him. Well, boots are made for walking, Frank, and that's just what you'll do with them on. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to sign out now because I got to get a couple things done around the house, and then I'll get this finished up tonight. But thanks everybody for hanging out. Philip says a maple candle would be nice. Yeah, we've got a maple candle. It just makes me hungry. Frank says he keeps throwing stuff at the clouds, but it doesn't always stick. You're not throwing hard enough, Frank. You got to throw harder. Try baseballs. Yeah. I'll get this page finished up. If anybody else has a 1-page comic suggestion, or if you know anybody that your peer groups that might have one, let them know. Tell them to get dialed in, and we'll get cracking. I got a few backed up right now. I got a fun one. Like I said before, I have to pass on some of them if they're just strictly franchise things, and that's okay, right? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Somebody told me I should be saying that every episode, which I never remember to do. But yeah, if there's people you know that might be dialed into this, let them know. Tell them to get on board and come and hang out. It's a lot of fun. And I think that there's a lot of really cool creatives that are coming together here. And it's allowing some real interesting engagements. And you're getting to see all kinds of other people's work. And personally, I'm quite taken with the idea of it. So yeah, I'll get this all wrapped up and put together and posted for tomorrow. And I'll be back tomorrow at 2:00 to work on another 1-page suggestion that I've got. I had it written down and I put it away. Yeah, it's now fallen off my desk over there. So now I went to grab the paper and knock the paper off, and I'm not going around my desk to get it. So yeah, Frank says he mentioned me on his stream. Oh boy, I hope it was good, Yogi. I'll add a link. Oh, that's nice, Frank. Thanks. Please do. Yeah, so come on out 2:00 tomorrow and hang out with us. And if you got 1-page suggestions, let me know in the comments below this live video, or let me know in any of the other social media stuff or any of the posts that I do of the finished pages. I've been doing a page a day for weeks now. I think I'm on page 37 or 38 since the start of the year. So I'm feeling good just for this and a couple of side things, right? Like there's, I'm doing formatting on 2 books as well. And that sort of takes up my time. And then I do, in the morning, I do work on other projects for other people. So it's busy. I'm very busy, but I'm feeling like I'm in a really productive zone right now. And I'm going to keep rolling with that. But I really appreciate people coming and hanging out and spending some time together because I feel like it helps me stay grounded in reality. You know what I mean? Okay. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Philip. Thanks, I think Jim threw some comments out earlier on, and anybody else that's come with us today. It's really great to be able to do this. And don't forget to keep creating yourself. I'd really love to see what you're doing. All right. Bye for now.